Matthew Continetti is the Director of Domestic Policy Studies at the American Enterprise Institute. He joins us now. He's also author of the book, The Right, the 100-Year War for American Conservatism. Matthew, it's good to have you with us. There you are.
Thank you, Major.
This is a shocking and devastating and deplorable day in American political history. I imagine you have a lot to say about Charlie Kirk's influence, but before the influential part, the human part, the floor is yours, sir.
Well, it's shocking on many levels. It's not just shocking because the attack occurred on a college campus, a place of learning, in broad daylight, and on video, a video that was circulated algorithmically on social media. It was shocking because of Charlie Kirk's youth. He was 31 years old. He was the father of 2 children. He was married. His whole life was ahead of him, and it was stopped needlessly by the assassin's bullet. And it was shocking as well because it happened at a time where we're becoming inured to this violence, Major. So this is a trend of political violence that has been going on for some time, whether it was the 2 assassination attempts on Donald Trump, the assassination attempt on Brett Kavanaugh, the shooting at the congressional baseball game in the first Trump administration. And then there are the kind of the less political acts of violence, or rather the political violence directed at private citizens, such as the gunning down of the United Healthcare executive last year by Luigi Mangione. This kind of propaganda of the deed, as the 19th century anarchists call it, is returning to America's campuses and college streets. And so it's a very disturbing moment, not just a sad moment for the family and for the conservative movement, but I think for the country as a whole.
And Matthew, I know you are familiar with the fire that was set at Governor Josh Shapiro's home, the attacks that left 1 member of the Minnesota legislature dead, another wounded, Gabby Giffords. So this has happened, as I said when I opened this show. There are victims of the spasms of political violence, which you suggest we have become inured to on both sides of the aisle. And it seems to me that there has to be a conversation about that fact, number one, and a kind of reconciling to a deeper conversation about how to find a different direction.
Right. Well, I think what's taking place, Major, is a polarization that's going far beyond what we were used to the past 20 years or so. We were talking about red and blue America, and we were talking about cultural differences between Republicans and Democrats, NASCAR versus soccer moms and so forth. But what instead seems to be happening is we're breaking apart into 2 different societies, 2 different cultures. And as this process takes place, individuals are feeling that no loyalty, not just to the other side of the political debate, but to the rule of law. And I have to say, you mentioned the attack on Governor Shapiro. Of course, that was also because of his Jewish identity. And so these political attacks are a part of the general trend to attack and harass Jewish Americans and supporters of Israel. It's multifaceted, is what I'm saying. And this particular incident is, I think, most shocking and lands most impactfully because here we have an attack on the very roots of a free society, right? What was Charlie Kirk doing? He was speaking to students. He was on a college campus. He was trying to engage in civil debate. He was, as you've been saying on this program, and as everybody knows, a happy warrior. He would listen to the other side at these events. I've seen him do it in the past, and he would engage. And now, whoever killed him didn't just mean to kill him. The killer meant to kill that whole structure that allows us to speak and to deliberate over public policy, public affairs. That's what I think we really have to fight against here. Not just not just enforce the law and deter these assassins, but also to preserve the mechanisms that have kept this country free for 250 years.
And Matthew, I want to ask you before I let you go about that dynamic of Charlie Kirk, because it wasn't just on that campus. Obviously, there are associated Turning Point USA groups at, I believe, more than 800 college campuses and some high schools. You can be a provocateur, an influencer in America, and you could have a limited audience. Charlie did not have a limited audience. He had a large and growing audience, which means he was finding something that people were in need of and wanted to be closer to. That seemed to be a very important political dynamic, not only to the Trump White House, but to the Republican movement generally. But I'd like your thoughts on what it meant more broadly in terms of communication, culture, and youth in America.
Well, we often don't think of it, but conservatism in the United States has often been a youth movement. The conservative movement of Ronald Reagan, say, really started on college campuses in the 1950s. And the great
Young
leader,
Americans for Freedom, YAF.
Young Americans for Freedom, and the great leader of American conservatism for the second half of the 20th century, William F. Buckley, first appeared on the scene as a 26-year-old dynamo from Yale. So in that sense, Charlie Kirk was very much following in the footsteps of an earlier generation of conservatives. He appeared on the scene at age 18, and he was a builder. He built Turning Point USA into an extraordinarily powerful and influential organization, as you've been saying on the program, in terms of turnout, in terms of influence within the conservative movement and Republican Party and Trump administration. So he, I think, represents well the energies behind the Trump movement today. It's been caricatured as a movement of old people, of rural Americans, but what gives it its dynamism is the young people that Charlie Kirk has brought to the movement. And that I think showed itself in the election results last year, where Donald Trump performed much better than expected among college-aged Americans. And the type of party that Donald Trump has brought into being, a Republican Party that includes people of all ethnicities, all races, is, again, I think, a result of the sort of activist work that Charlie Kirk performs so well, but so tragically in such a brief span of time.
Matthew Continetti, I appreciate you coming on the program very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you.